We've got everybody in the waiting room at this point, and so we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll add others as they may log in. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for the next edition in our Tartan Talks webinar series, where we're looking at personal wellness, certainly in these uncertain times, with an introduction to Pilates. We are fortunate to have alumna Ronda Guimond with us as our facilitator this afternoon, and she's going to be taking us through this session. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we're asking everyone to keep their microphones muted as we go through the presentation. Use the text chat feature to ask a question or seek clarification if you want. We will have some time at the end for a general question and answer period, and at that point we can probably allow people to unmute themselves to ask a question if they would like. I am recording this session, so we'll make that recording available to you afterwards so that you have it to refer back to and some of Rhonda's guidance and instruction. And then we will be posting that on the Tartan Talk webinar website as well. So again, want to just recognize Ronda, graduate of Alma College 1996, as our host and facilitator this afternoon. You can see she's a certified Pilates instructor and yoga teacher who teaches and conducts lessons at a number of places here in Michigan. And so just wanted to say thank you to Ronda for her willingness to lead this session and share her expertise in this area with all of us. And I'm going to turn it over to Ronda now, and she will take us from here. So Ronda.
Thank you, Bill. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Just a quick housekeeping note here for our mat workout. If you have a thicker mat, opt for that. If you have your yoga mat or a thinner mat and you're on a hardwood floor, then maybe move to carpet. We want a softer surface than, if you join me for yoga, than what we maybe had used for yoga. So we won't have any balancing or things like that today. We will be on our mat. That softer surface will help to roll your spine a little bit more. So you'll have time to go ahead and move locations if you need to. I'll just bring through a little bit of the history of Pilates and some of the key principles of Pilates, and then we'll get onto our mat and do a little workout. So Joseph Pilates is a person. He was born in 1880. He died in 1967. He died when he was 87 years old, and he was born in Germany. And as a child, he was made fun of. He had asthma. Exercising was difficult for him, and he was bound to break the stigma that he couldn't do anything that his buddies were doing, his friends were doing. He was a small guy, and so physical fitness to him became very personal, so that he could stick up for himself and he could do what the others were doing too, in terms of he loved to box, he loved to dance, he loved to do karate. He was quite a talented person, but as he became older, World War I happened, and he was arrested by the British troops and brought to England in an internment camp. So that was where he started to create this form of exercises. He didn't call it Pilates. It was actually called controlology. And control is one of the key principles of this form of exercise. This exercise is focused on the lower abdominal area, so think that space below your navel and lower. And then also the back side of our body. So our hamstrings, our glutes, and you'll understand a little bit more once we move into exercises, that connection that you're making with these muscles. Another key principle is concentration. So that connection with your body is really important, and it was something that Joseph included in all the types of exercises he created in this overall method of exercise. Joseph was in the internment camp for quite a few years, and during that camp, he also helped others improve their health. So he created some of the apparatus that you'll see here in a moment that is out of bed springs. He created it out of beds. And so that's a bit why everything looks a little bit archaic and kind of scary for some people. This is a reformer. And this is sort of a well-known apparatus. I think the most popular of Pilates exercises is on the mat. But if you're ever into a studio, you'll notice it's quite clean. There isn't a whole lot around because Joseph Pilates felt that the apparatus or your own body, meaning the mat, could take care of the exercises. But here, just a few different exercises that are done on the reformer with springs. There's tension as a result of the springs. And most importantly, in these photos, my own body weight is what's keeping me challenged. And then next slide, you'll see a couple other apparatus. These are all apparatus that Joseph had created. And then as Pilates started to evolve, then a couple other apparatus, or you could call them props, were created as well. The chair, that was called a Ronda chair, it's with a W, but he was German, is once again out of springs with the pedal, which is where my feet are on. And then as I lift my tailbone up to raise the pedal, another key principle of Pilates is opposition. So I talked about lower abdominals. Strengthening them also means making them active. So in our exercises, I'll really start to focus more on how to keep that space active so that as on the chair, I was lifting, we'll say my tailbone, my hips up towards the ceiling. It was initiating from my lower abdominals as I was pressing down through my palms, which are on the back of the chair, and then my feet, which are on the pedal. So opposition is another key guideline and principle in our Pilates practice. The center photo is a classes. So we have what's called a tower, and that is something that's built into a wall. You can screw it into a wall and it holds. Basically, they look like pipes. And again, very simplistic apparatus equipment, and it has springs for legs, for arms, and a few other nice little accessories on this tower. But we have classes when we're in studio on the tower, and again, they're very small movements, similar movements to what you and I will do on our mat today, but with a little more resistance because of the springs. And then the final picture on to the right, there's a lot of private sessions that are given in Pilates one-on-one. So I also teach privates, and I'm able to do that now, fortunately, with our virtual. So I have a couple of private clients I can work with that will work on the mat. A few people have a reformer or some of the other apparatus at their house that we work on too. But being able to do your Pilates without the apparatus is definitely an option. So we have a lot of benefits of Pilates. Another key principle is centering. Centering all the way down, which means like zippering up too. So from your abdominals, feeling entire engagement from your navel all the way up your core into your, let's just say, the rib cage, and also bringing the rib cage in. So with our Pilates and practicing these exercises with the breath, which is another key principle, we use our breath in order to move through some of the exercises. So unlike yoga, where breath is the first and foremost principle, breath in our Pilates is a nice to have. Just keep breathing. Don't worry about if you're doing something on an inhale or exhale. Just continue to breathe as you exercise. But one important piece of the breath, and one thing that Joseph felt was very important to keep it as a key principle, was in order to keep our lungs strong, especially as something happens where we get sick, there's something else that comes along, like we have right now, that we need strong lungs. We start to get winded with stairs, and then our lungs, and then as a result, we don't take the stairs and we take the elevator. So those are examples of why breath is a key principle, and having a long breath or working it into our exercises is important. Another key principle is precision. That doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean keeping your concentration, moving through the exercise with purpose. And when we move into the exercises, you'll see where that precision starts to take place. And then finally, the final key principle is flow. So we'll start to move with a flow, and that will be the second time through our exercises. Today we'll go through what's considered basic mat and a little bit intermediate. And it doesn't matter if it's basic, intermediate, or advanced exercises. There's about 260 exercises overall in the Pilates method. The name changed to Pilates, Joseph, after he had died in 1967, to Pilates, and he did not trademark it. So there's a few different variations of Pilates, which are great. I am classically trained, which means our style will be to roll the spine all the way from the neck to your tailbone. If you have any neck issues, then I advise you to keep your head down. And the biggest thing about our practice today may be that you feel it in your neck. And that could be as a result of your neck muscles being a little bit weak or just not used to having your head lifted in that manner. So if you feel something that's not quite feeling right, or you have issues in your back, then leave your head down for a lot of these exercises. And I'll tell you when and where that's a good option for you. Another apparatus that I wanted to be able to show you is called a spine corrector. This is a barrel that we use also onto, we can use onto the reformer. We can put it onto the carriage, and then within our mat. So this shape of the barrel is good for the spine and different exercises. This spine corrector is something that can be used in a variety of exercises we're going to do today. So a little less surface area into our series of 5 that we'll do just makes it a little more challenging. The imbalance creates that because of the roundness into the barrel. Also, you can sit onto the lip of the spine corrector into what's called rolling like a ball that we'll do today. And then again, challenge as you draw your knees in without leaning back, keeping those abdominals engaged as you do. And then you can bring yourself over the barrel. Your back would be supported, low back, hips supported, and your legs up. And we can move into exercises that way. Because we are in uncertain times right now, not everyone has a spine corrector. Not everyone has what's called a magic circle. Magic circle is something that we just use for resistance, keeping lower abdominals engaged, pressing into the circle, and now I start to have my side body engaged right underneath my armpits, my obliques, which is really important because when you lift your arms up and reach for something, that can also remind you not to bring your shoulders up or grab muscles that aren't necessarily needed or start to create bad habits. So another benefit of our Pilates is to avoid making bad habits or not accenting or accentuating those habits and starting to bring them with you as you start to carry your way through life. The last apparatus I'm going to show you is a toe corrector. Something in Pilates that's very important and we put a lot of attention into is our feet. And so this toe corrector goes around my big toes. And again, it looks like something that's just very scary but very simplistic. In fact, someone said I could make that out of 2 paper clips and a spring, and you probably could. But the premise is keeping your lower abdominals engaged. As you start to pull the toe corrector away, you'll start to feel from your heels all the way up inner thigh and backside engaged. So just a little overview of some of the other apparatus that is available at the studio or to be able to bring into your own home. We also have quite a few hacks. So right now I'm teaching online classes. Not everyone has anything I just showed you, and that's perfectly fine. We'll use a towel. It will be our magic circle, so I'll pull it apart rather than pressing in. I'm still getting that engagement along my side body that I told you about. We'll use a pillow put that between our heels or between our thighs to get some inner thigh engagement depending on the exercise. So I tell you all this to know that Pilates is obtainable at home. Don't worry about whether or not for any form of exercise, frankly, as long as it keeps you moving, whether or not you have the right equipment. So with that, we're going to go ahead and begin our mat. Bring yourself to stand first. And we're going to start with attention to your feet. So I mentioned very important is our feet. And I just want you to maybe close your eyes if that helps. Just feel where your weight is on your feet. Do you have a little more weight into your arches? Do you have a little weight on the outside edges of your feet? And if you're not sure, that's okay. Just take a notice here, see what's happening. And then see if you can even out the weight for what we would call the four corners of our feet. So lift your toes first. Bring all your weight into your heels. Lower your toes down. Bring your weight to your toes. Shift forward slightly. You don't have to lift your heels. If you'd like a little more, you can always start to lift off. And then bring weight back to your heels. Squeeze your toes into your mat or grip your mat with your toes. And now release your toes. And then ask yourself, do I feel like it's pretty even between my feet? If it's not, if you can start to even it out, whatever that means for you, give it a shot. So the first thing is, where do you put your weight? We're working to evenly put it onto our feet. If it's on the outside of our feet, it can affect everything above our feet. If it's on the inside of our feet, it can affect everything above our feet. So what starts to happen is, if we have one spot where we're giving a little more weight and we walk on our edges, we can see it on our shoes. We start to feel it into our knees, our hips, and other areas, maybe our low back. So we work a lot with the feet in Pilates to try to relieve some of those pressure areas. Another thing about Pilates that I'll talk about and incorporate into our exercises is called Pilates Stance. So that means heels together, toes apart. So I'm going to shift just a little bit towards you and show you. I have a slight V into my feet. So it's not, if you're a dancer, here and out. It's more into that slight V. And then start to press down through your heels. Grip your mat or your floor. If you don't have your mat, that's perfectly fine. Grip it with your toes. And then let your toes relax. Press through your heels and feel like you're growing just a little bit taller. From here, press your heels down into your floor. And then start to turn your knees slightly outward, which means your inner thighs will slightly turn outward. For your tactile feedback, bring your hands to your glutes. Now let your heels relax. Let your knees come inward or back to their natural state. Maybe you feel a little change into your glutes. They started to soften a little bit. Press into your heels. Turn your knees forward. Your inner thighs, if you have tights on, your seams will start to face towards me. Hands stay on your glutes. And now relax your heels, knees, your inner thighs come back to neutral. So we're going to work on that Pilates stance in some of our exercises to fire our backside. So when I say Pilates stance, that's what I mean. Go ahead and bring yourself down onto your mat. Come to seated. Bend your knees and bring your feet hip distance. So I mentioned there's several exercises. For our mat, there's over 30 exercises. We're going to go through about, let's say, 15 today. Bring your hands behind your knees. Place your palms on your thighs, elbows wide. Sit up tall first. Feet stay light onto your mat. And then start to pull that space below your navel as though you're reaching it back to your spine, or you're starting to suck in your belly. Just get a little activation there. See if you can do that without your knees changing, without your feet, the weight into your feet changing. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, begin to straighten your arms as you bring your low back towards the back of your mat. So as though you're kind of rolling down or moving away from your thighs, and just hold there. Keep your hands light on your thighs. Continue to keep your abdominals, your navel, pulling back to your spine. And now on your inhale, bring yourself towards your knees as though your nose is leading, and your nose is going to come between your knees. It doesn't need to, it's just a direction. And then exhale, sit up tall, stack your spine. We're going to do one more like that. Take your inhale first, elbows wide, hands light. Exhale, pull your low belly back and start to let your arms extend as you move from your lower abdominals. And we'll get a little more connection there in a moment. Bring yourself back, still staying above your low back. And then inhale, lead with the crown of your head, your nose towards your knees. And exhale, sit up tall. Let's go one more. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring yourself back. So you're sucking something in, or you're pulling your belly away from something, trying to touch it. And inhale, lead with your crown of your head, nose towards your knees. Exhale, sit up tall. Let's call a roll down. Go ahead and extend your legs out long. And then bring yourself to your Pilates stance, heels together, toes apart. So now you can look down at your thighs. See if you have a seam in your tights. Maybe put your hands to your inner thigh area. And then start to press into the sides of your heels. So your toes are already out into that V. I want you to just give a little contact into your heels, a little press in. Can you feel your glutes, your backside engaged? If you feel like you're pulling in your quads, let them soften just a little bit. Instead, let your glutes, your backside lead. Heels press into each other. If you don't feel the connection, don't worry, it's okay. Go ahead and release, soften your heels, and now bring yourself all the way down to lying onto your back. And just bring yourself down, you can lie down. If some of you are already experienced with Pilates, you may know that we do a roll up, but just bring yourself down. We'll work into that roll up momentarily. Find your Pilates stance, heels together, toes apart. And now bring your hands to your pelvis. So hands can come onto your hip bones, bring it right to that space where your pelvis is. And now start to engage right underneath your navel, meaning feel like it is dropping down or maybe tightening up, however you view these muscles being engaged. So rather than pushing your belly out for a flex, I want you to feel more like you're centering, zippering up. Keep breathing. Take your inhale. And exhale, work to keep your lower abdominals engaged rather than starting to come up. So your hands are working to sink down rather than up to the ceiling as you breathe. Continue to breathe. Now we're working to keep this space engaged as we start to move. You can bring your hands at any time to that space again, just to check in. Take your inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling, shoulder distance. Palms face forward. Exhale, lift your head. And if this is too much on your neck, your head stays down. Look up. Look across your navel, look towards your toes. How's that space? Your lower abdominals engaged. Can you tell? If you're not sure, then bring your belly out, push it out, and then suck it back in. Lower your head down, arms are gonna stay where they are. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift your head, arms stay where they are.
look up and over your navel, look towards your toes, shoulders stay down, and lower your head down. We're going to add on, take your inhale, and exhale, lift your head. This time, keep your arms where they are, but start to lift your upper back. So feel like your shoulder blades are lifting away from your mat. If this is too much in your neck, your arms are still reaching up, head stays down. Take your inhale, roll down, round down, arms stay where they are. From here, take an inhale, and exhale, lift your head, lift your upper back, and start to bring yourself up as you reach forward. So this is your full roll up. I'll give you an option if this is too much, and we call it a good morning roll up. Reach forward, feel as though you're reaching past your toes, and continue to pull your low belly back towards your spine. Heels stay connected to each other and even down into your mat. And now start to round down as your arms reach forward. Roll down, and you're working to roll down one vertebrae at a time as you do, and energy is reaching out of your heels. If you find no way, can I do that today? Here is your option. If you are good with what we just did, I'd like you to move through that once again. If it's not working for you today, then bend your knees. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Take your inhale, lift your head and walk your hands up. Use your thighs and then extend your legs and round forward. And then reach your arms forward. This is our modified roll-up. If you are still for the reverse version, then hold there on your mat. In our modified version, heels come in, hands behind your thighs like we started, and then walk your hands down. Walk them down, bring yourself back. So you may have a little more grip than what we had when we first started. Go into your variation, legs long or knees bent. Take your inhale first, and on your exhale, lift your head, lift your upper back, your middle back, your low back, bring yourself all the way up and over. And then bring yourself back, leading with your low back. Your middle back will follow, rolling down, rounding down, and reach your arms up. One more like that. Take your inhale, and on your exhale, head lifts. Bring your upper back with you. Legs go long when you get that point where you can't walk up your back thighs if you're in your modified variation. And then bring yourself back. We'll meet lying on our back. If you find your feet parallel with each other, happens, that's okay, they can be parallel. Pilates stance is one variation. Keeping your legs long. Take an inhale, reach your arms up if they're not. And now on your exhale, lift your head. If it's too much, your head stays down, lift your upper back. And now reach your arms by your thighs or higher than your hips. And you can still do this with your head down. In fact, sometimes it's even harder with your head down. As you reach forward, continue to reach through your heels. And now lift your right leg up. We move into what's called the 100. It's 100 pumps of your arms up and down as though you're pressing something down. So I'll give you a little rhythm. Keep pumping up and down as you inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, this is 40. Exhale, lower your right foot down, switch. Lift your left leg up. Inhale, keep pumping. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 5 pumps. Exhale, 5 pumps. Inhale. Exhale, last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower your left foot down. Reach your arms up and then lower your upper back, lower your head down. Reach your arms over your head, take a two-way stretch. And now ask yourself, are my ribs popping up or can I keep them cinched in? So Pilates, we tend to use a term sometimes called knitting our ribs. So that means it feels as though our rib cage, and a lot of this obviously is just directional, not really happening anatomically, but as though our rib cage is bringing itself into each other, knitting into each other. So as your arms reach over your head, can you pull your lower abdominals and make them a little more active? Pull them back, or for some of us, it may feel like we're sucking them up into our sternum. That's good engagement. Also, work to not change your hips. Keep your hips neutral. You can place your hands onto your pelvis, your hips. Check it out. If you tend to tuck, then untuck. Let your hips stay neutral. Take your inhale, lift your arms up to the ceiling. And now exhale, lower your arms all the way down. Bend your left knee and bring your right leg up to the ceiling. Palms stay pressing down. And now lower your right leg the height of your left knee. Slightly rotate, we call this Pilates stance. So turn your heel towards the left. Keep pressing your left foot down into your mat. And now open your leg to the right, just a little bit. And then lower it down to ankle height. Bring your leg to your ankle, and then back up to the height of your knee. We'll do 3 in this direction. Open to the right, lower down height of your ankle, bring your leg to your ankle, and then back up. Open, lower down, leg to your ankle, and back up. Keep pressing your left foot into your mat. As you lower now, let's reverse your leg to your ankle. Open to the right, ankle height, lift up, and back to your knee. Lower down, open to the right, start to soften the edge to create a circle, back to your knee. Lower your leg down, open to the right, create a soft circle, bring it up, and back to your knee. Bend your right knee, and let's switch sides. Extend your left leg long first, and then on your exhale, lift it up to the ceiling. Your foot stays neutral, no need to flex, no need to point. And then find that Pilates stance. So slight external rotation, heel to the right this time. So you're opening a little more into your hip, into your inner thigh active. From here, bring your leg down to the height of your right knee. And now open your leg to the left, just enough. And then lower down, ankle height, bring it in and up. Open to the left and lower. Bring it to your ankle and up. Keep that right heel pressing down into your mat as you open. Lower down to your ankle and back up. Let's reverse. Lower your leg down. Open to the left, ankle height. You can create that soft edge right away if you are ready for your circles. Lower your leg down. Open to the left, up and around. One more like this. Lower down, open to the left, up, and back to home. Parallel your foot, bend your knee, lower your left foot down. You can stay here for what we would call a transitional roll-up, bringing your hands to your thighs and walking up your thighs, or extend your legs long, reach your fingertips up, take your inhale, and on your exhale, bring yourself all the way up and reach over. And then stack your spine and lower your arms down. Staying where you are in your sit bones, bring your heels to you. And we're gonna move into that rolling like a ball, like I mentioned, onto the spine corrector. Bring your hands to your ankles. You can always bring them a little higher if that's not working for you. Just see where you are. You are trying to get your heels as close to your seat as you can. Let your elbows be wide. Take your inhale to lift your heels up, and your exhale, lift your toes. See if you can avoid bringing yourself back without too much momentum. When you do, pull your ribs away from your thighs as you lift your toes up. Start to create that roundness into your back elbows, stay wide. If you can, try not to look at the camera or change where your head is, and instead drop your chin down just a bit. Pull your ribs away from your thighs more, and this is where we start to have fun. You can stay right here, or the exercise is called rolling like a ball. So we'll start to roll back onto our shoulder blades, coming to just the low part of our shoulder blades. Your heels tuck in as you roll back,
And when you come up, you hold where you started for 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself back, heels stay pulling in, come up, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Round back, come up, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Let's go one more. Bring yourself back, come up, hold for 3, 2, and 1. From here, keep your right hand onto your right ankle. Now, you can always lower your feet down. Let's go for this transition. Left leg goes long. Bring your left hand to your knee. And with control, start to bring yourself back. Come to, let's say middle back. We'll be down, but keep those shoulder blades lifted up. Left leg is long, elbows wide. You can always lower your head down. From here, switch. Left knee comes in. Outside hand reaches the longest. So left hand, left ankle. And now switch. Right knee comes in. Right hand, right ankle. Left hand on your knee. Switch. Bring that knee in. Give it a little squeeze this time. And now switch. Right knee in. Lengthen through your left leg. Squeeze. Switch. Left knee in. This is our last one. And then bring both of your knees in. And then start to lower your upper back, lower your head down. Let your legs come long. We're gonna do a transitional roll up. Find which way is working for you. Take your inhale first, and on your exhale, bring yourself all the way up and reach over your toes or toward your toes. And then stack your spine and lower your hands down. Our final exercise today before we move through again at a little faster pace, and maybe throw in a couple more exercises in between, is what's called spine stretch forward. So your feet are wider than your hips, maybe mat width, and your feet are flexed. So when I say flex, I want you to think you're flexing from your ankles rather than your toes coming back towards you. So that's another difference into what we do and why our toes are important, our feet are important in our Pilates is sometimes we pull up into our toes as we walk. And when we do that, that can start to get us really tight into our hip flexors. We try to work to keep our feet as neutral as possible, or let's say inactive on most of our Pilates exercises, but there are some where we do want a little bit more activity to our feet. So we're not really making our feet active as much as we're simply reaching energy through our heels. Continue to bring your toes back towards you, flex from your ankles if that resonates with you, and then press your palms or your fists into your mat next to your hips. Feel like you're sitting a little bit taller or getting lighter onto your sit bones. And now squeeze your glutes. Now you're getting a little higher. And keep your glutes squeezed as you release your hands and bring them forward. Palms are down. Arms shoulder width, take an inhale. And now on your exhale, as though you're reaching along a table, start to bring your chin slightly down and let your head follow. And now let your upper back follow. Let your middle back follow and your low back. So you're bending from your spine. Keep reaching your arms forward. Take your inhale, pull your lower abdominals back so your low back leads and your middle back follows. Patience on your exhale so your upper back stacks and your head is last. So avoid that temptation to let your head be lifted right away. Take your inhale, engage your glutes, squeeze your butt cheeks. And now on your exhale, reach your fingertips forward, glide them as though you're reaching over a table. You're giving someone with your fingertips as you reach long. Take your inhale, low belly pulls back, stack your spine, middle back follows. Exhale, upper back, and then head is last. One more inhale, exhale, reach forward, take that stretch. And on this last one, let your head be heavy this time. Head is heavy, permission to let that chin fall down. And then on your inhale, stack your spine, low back, middle back follows. Exhale, upper back, head is last. And then lower your arms down. All right, bring your heels to each other. We're gonna start from the top. We're gonna move into a flow. You can opt out of any exercises that aren't working for you, or you can lower your head down and then jump back into the exercise if your head is lifted and you want to continue on. So Feel like you can make your modifications. We're gonna avoid the roll down with bent knees this time. We're gonna go right into it. So bring yourself down and think about, how do you bring yourself down when you lie down? Do you plop down? Do you bring yourself off to the side and then bring yourself down? What can you do to get a little bit more strength into your center so that you don't create those bad habits, so that you can continue to lift yourself up, get out of bed, walk up the stairs, help someone? All right, so let's start with our roll-ups. Take your inhale, arms reach up, or you have your bent knees, hands behind your thighs. And on your exhale, lift up. Bring yourself all the way up and reach forward. And then inhale brings you back. Bring your low back, your middle back to your mat. And on your exhale, lower your upper back, head is lax. Once again, inhale, bring yourself up. Use your exhale. Bring yourself all the way up. Reach forward past your toes. Inhale draws you back first. Once your middle back lands, your exhale finishes. Take your inhale. Exhale, bring yourself up and over. Reach over your toes. Inhale brings you back. Work to keep those heels pressing down and into each other as you lower all the way down. The 100 is next. So usually we would do maybe 6 of those roll-ups, but because of our time, we're just gonna shorten a little bit. We'll make up for it in our 100. On your inhale, use your exhale to lift your head and your upper back. Arms reach by your hips. If you'd like a little more, lift both legs and start to pump as you inhale, exhale, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale, you can always lower a foot down, exhale. Inhale and switch. Exhale if you want. Inhale. Exhale to keep going through the exercise. Inhale. Exhale, but you're starting to feel it in your low back. Keep pumping. So modifications. This is 80. Exhale, last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower everything down. Reach your fingertips up to the ceiling. Take your inhale and exhale, lower your arms down. Single leg circles. This time, if you would like your leg to be long rather than bent, feel free. Use your inhale, lift your leg up to the ceiling. If your knee is bent, you're lowering it to knee height. If your left leg stays long, keep it up to the ceiling. Take your Pilates stance, heel slightly to the left, and now open to the right and lower down. Circle around and back up. Reach over to the right. Lower, circle around and back up. Open to the right, lower, around, and up. Now reverse. Lower straight down if your knee is bent, or you're gonna reach over to the left if your left leg is long to create that full circle. And reach over. So now you can see how our Pilates starts to change, how it starts to evolve. Come back to center. If your left leg is long, scissor switch. If you have that bend into your left knee, then bend your right knee. And then make your way up with your left leg. Come to your Pilates stance. Heel reaches to the right. And now open to the left and lower down. And then back up. Find your variation. We're gonna do 3 this direction. So your Pilates keeps you challenged. And now reverse. If your right leg is long, you're gonna reach across your right leg. If your right knee is bent, lower it down to your ankle. We have 1 more this direction. And we'll all meet up at the top. And then with our legs long. Take your inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, lift your head. Lift your upper back, your middle back, and your low back. Reach forward and stack your spine and sit up tall. Rolling like a ball, bring your heels to your seat. Lift your heels on your inhale, and on your exhale, lift your toes. Knees stay hip distance. Take an inhale. Inhale leads this time as you round back. And on your exhale, heels stay in, and you hold for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale brings you back. Exhale, come up, hold, pull your ribs away from your thighs as you do. Bring yourself back. Come up, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Let's go 1 more. Inhale back.
Exhale up. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Right hand stays where it is. Left leg goes long. You can always lower that foot down. Left hand to your knee, and then with control, bring yourself back. Elbows wide. And now switch. Left knee in, left arm goes long. And now switch. Right knee in, squeeze. Switch. Left knee in, squeeze. Switch. Right knee in, squeeze. Switch. Left knee in. Remember, the outside hand reaches the longest. Last one. Both knees in. As you keep your knees in, this is our extra. Reach your legs long, reach your arms out, and now bring everything in. Reach your legs long, reach your arms out. You can always lower your head down and bring everything back in. 2 more. Arms reach long, legs reach long, and bring it in. If you'd like a little more, reach your arms over your head, and now to your arms, and then bring your knees in. Lower your upper back, lower your head down. Take your inhale, reach your legs up to the ceiling. Bring your arms, palms down by your sides. Take an inhale first, and on your exhale, lift your head, lift your upper back. Walk your fingertips forward a little more, press down into your mat, legs stay here. Look at your navel, lengthen through the back of your neck. And then keeping your heels to each other, lower your legs as one, just a little, and then lift them back up. If you'd like a little more, bring your hands to the base of your neck, elbows wide, and now lower your legs a little more and bring them back up. We're gonna go 2 more, find your variation. Double straight leg, and then last one, find your variation. Lift your legs as one. Lower your upper back, lower your head down, bring your knees inward. And now extend your legs out long, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Take your inhale, and on your exhale, lift your head, lift your upper back, your middle back, your low back. Bring yourself up and over, and then stack your spine and sit up top. Spine stretch forward. Bring your heels the width of your mat. Engage your glutes. Take your inhale, arms reach long, shoulder height. Exhale, lead with the crown of your head. Bend your spine, bring yourself forward, reach forward. And inhale, stack your spine. On your exhale, upper back, head is last. Take your inhale. Exhale, reach forward. Low belly pulls back. Flex from your ankles. Inhale, stack your spine. Exhale, upper back, head is last. One more like that. Inhale and exhale, reach. Take your inhale, stack your spine. And your exhale, head is last. And then lower your arms down. This is where we would end our basic Pilates mat workout. We added 2, 3 intermediate exercises. So nice job, you guys. We're gonna finish with 1 more and then we'll be done for the day. So this is called Mermaid, and your feet can be stacked or kind of staggered. Or if you find, I'm not so sure this is gonna work for me here, you can bring your shin so that it's parallel with the short edge of your mat and your heel just off to your side. So I'll give you both views here, just so you can see a little bit more into the side. So we'll start with our right hand onto our right ankle, wherever you are with your legs. If you still find, I don't know if this is working so much for my hip, then go ahead and roll your mat a little bit, give yourself a little height, or should you have a towel nearby, and put that towel underneath your right sit bone. Right hand hangs to your right ankle. Take your inhale, reach your left palm by your ear, and then reach it up. Bicep is by your ear. Exhale, reach over to the right. So keep your weight to your sit bones even, a long stretch, rather than breaking or dumping into your right hip. So worry less about how big is your side bend, more about reaching. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, reach long over to the right. Inhale, back to center. 1 more. Exhale over.
And inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower your left hand down. And then let's take an inhale, right arm reaches up. And then you can walk your left hand a little more away from you. Take a counter deep stretch if you'd like on the right side. You can always lower your chin, lower your right hand, go a little more, take a little gentle twist. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up. And then we'll switch sides. So legs can come out in front. Find your way, either stagger feet, working to keep weight even onto your hips, or you can find that shin parallel with the short edge of your mat. Left hand hangs onto your left ankle, right palm by your ear, and then bring it up, straight up. So we're going straight up, bicep by your ear. Take your inhale, and on your exhale, reach over, lengthen, reach, sit bones stay as they are. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left, reach. Inhale back to center. And then one more, exhale. So you're reaching up and over. Inhale back to center, and exhale, lower your right hand. Walk your fingertips away from you. Sweep your left arm up, and then reach through your left fingertips. You can even lower your elbow down if you'd like a little bit more. If you have your space, go ahead and take that extra stretch. And then if you'd like a little more, a little extra spinal twist, lower your left hand down. You can turn your chin towards your right shoulder. And then inhale, make your way back to center, left arm reaches up. And then on your exhale, lower your left hand down. You are finished. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you, Rhonda. That was wonderful. We do have a few minutes. If those of you who are on have any questions, we can take those now, either in the chat, or if you feel like you want to just unmute yourself, you can certainly present a question that way as well. But we know certainly some of you may need to log off, but if you have a moment and you have some questions, feel free to present those now.
Hi, Ron. Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you today?
Good,
thanks. Thank you for the class. It was great. You offered lots of options and modifications. I really appreciated that. I was wondering, where did you do your training again?
Through the USPA, the United States Pilates Association. My lead instructor was out of New York, but we also have, it's called Teacher of Teachers, who is certified through the USPA. And my location was in Ann Arbor at V Fitness and Spa. There's also a variety of other training that is the different styles I had mentioned at the beginning. So here in Plymouth, where I live, the studio is Core Sport, and they have their training through Pure Body. So there's definitely options out there based on what style and, based on a lot of things, time and, travel, if that's required.
Okay, so want to just say one more final thanks to Rhonda, and then also let you know that our next Tartan Talk is going to be on Thursday, August 13th, with alumnus Doug Gross, talking about kind of saving and investing in an unstable economy, which certainly is something we're in right now. So we're doing kind of the focus in our Tartan Talk series now is really helping us all deal with the various challenges we're facing. So Rhonda today, certainly from a personal well-being and health standpoint. So thank you again, Rhonda, and thank you all for being here, and look forward to you joining us for future Tartan Talks. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.